In this video, we're going to be looking at 32 brand new decoration designs for 1.13. Check it out. Hey guys, what's up? It's Hex here, and today I've got 32 more decoration ideas for 1.13. If you didn't check out my other decoration designs video, I'm going to put a card on the screen right now so you can check that out as well. These are hopefully all brand new with some of the updated features with the final release. So I use a lot of like the dead coral blocks, and I figured out a different way to make some fish tanks, as you can see behind me, and there's some other cool stuff in here as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, our first little showcase here, we've got several different things going on. First of all, I used some of these stripped oak, or stripped birch logs, I believe they are. It's kind of like a bedroom set, so like I really like the textures of these because they're kind of cool, kind of lighter colored wood, but they still look like wood. Right here we have our coral blocks. This is the pink coral, or I don't know the names of the coral yet. And I stink with names of things anyways, but this is the coral blocks right here. And then obviously underneath this, there's going to be some water right there. Check that out. So that's how I'm able to do that. But I think it makes a nice little bed. And then right here, I'm using the sea pickles as candles. So they kind of look like candles to me when they're set like that. And what's really cool is you can put more than one of them in a spot. So you could do like 2 or 3 or something like that to make it look like you've got a few little candles next to your bed. And then right here, this is just some carpet like that. And then also it's kind of a newer thing that you can put flower pots on top of different things. So this one here makes a little lamp with an end rod and a flower pot on top, and you've seen these before, so this doesn't count, but just some buttons at the top, some dark oak buttons just to kind of give it a little bit more flair. So that's that one. I really like the sea pickles as candles. It's one of my favorite things. This one here's got some interesting stuff going on. First of all, we've got some more of these flower pots that are on top of a lever that has an item frame behind it. So the way that you would do this, you would place the lever. You can actually place a flower pot on top of the lever holding shift, and then you just place the item frame on the back. You could probably even put something on the back of the item frame. Let's see if we can even do that. I just thought of that. Let's see. Let's just pick like some color, some random color, whatever. This probably won't look like awesome, but whatever. Let's just try it real quick. Okay, so I'm looking at the item frame. Yeah, it's on there, but it's not showing through. So you might be able to find something that would work, but that's the general idea. Okay, next we've got some more sea pickle candles, and this right here is really interesting. I feel like this, I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before, but basically it would be like a little bowl that's kind of made of like metal, but it's like decorative, or maybe it's even made of glass, and it's like kind of decorative that people might put out. And then inside of it, we have what is that thing? That's like a peony plant. And then underneath, if you look, it has the item frame. And so then I have an item frame with a peony in it, and then I put on top of it a dead coral fan. And then, so that to me looks like a little bowl of some candies, or maybe some pink fruit of some sort, whatever pink fruit is. And then of course we have the standard flower pot right there. There's nothing in there in the little picture. So that's that one. Here, I used that kind of bowl situation again, and then on this one here, I've tried to make some candles that had like a little, I don't know if you've ever seen where basically it's like a little candle like holder thing, and then on top of it there's like just kind of like a little lamp like shade. But that's kind of what I tried to do here. You could also use end rods here, but I was trying to mix it up with these flower pots right there. So here's a bowl that's just sitting like by itself, and then some flower pots on top of these torches right here. And then you guys have seen this before, where basically you just take some stripped acacia wood and then just put some trapdoors around it. Looks pretty cool. And then this is just the tops of the quartz pillar blocks like that for just like a floor. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention the floor on this one here. This is the new diorite texture. So I'm actually using Vadic's Faithful Texture Pack, which has some of the new textures that are supposed to be coming out at some point that they're kind of working on for Minecraft. And this is the new diorite texture, and I think it makes an excellent carpet. I've actually seen carpet that looks almost exactly like this, and so I think that it makes a really nice looking carpet, like a floor that looks carpeted even though it's diorite. Kind of cool. All right, over here I have some of these dead coral fans, and I'm kind of thinking of them as weeds in kind of like a pathway situation. So if you're kind of go through, and you got some dead weeds or dead plants or something like that, and then here's your pathway. Right here we use the dead coral fans. I was trying to sort of simulate like a barbed wire or some sort of spikes coming out of the top of this medieval looking wall, and then of course I kind of just continued over here with our little weeds and just trying to find some creative ways to use these coral fans. So you might be able to think of some other things, but to me they look like little spikes or something medievally kind of sticking out of the top of this wall. Maybe even some of that like barbed razor wire or something. It just kind of looks menacing and like, ooh, I don't want to climb over that. That's kind of what I was going for there. All right, here's some interesting stuff here. So I made us a chair. I don't think I showed this in my other video, so correct me if I'm wrong, but basically we have a dark oak slab, and then we have two dark oak, what do you call them, trapdoors behind it. So there's one and then another one, and I think that makes a really nice sort of high-backed like office chair, or just any kind of chair really. Here we have an item frame that's on top of this table that's using trapdoors. And that item frame has a book on it, so it's almost like there's a book on this little desk. This is my version of a laptop, so we've got a carpet, and then behind it we've got a birch wood trapdoor that kind of looks like a computer screen with some icons on it or something, if you kind of use your imagination. This lamp is actually a wither skull on top of a end rod here. So I don't know if that's like a 1.13 thing. I don't think so, but basically if you turn the thing backwards, it kind of looks like a little black lamp. So you could probably do this in other versions of Minecraft too. And then I tried to use these coral fans. Like they just kind of looked cool on the side like this as like some sort of decorative something or other. So to me, they sort of look like magazine racks that are sideways. Unfortunately, you can't put them upright for a magazine rack, but anyways, there they are. It's just something a little derpy there. And then we've got some buttons on the wall there. Yeah, this one here I'm really happy with. I think this is my very favorite table. So check this out right here. Okay, so I used the same kind of chair that I did over there, except this is all birch and birch trapdoors. And then down here we have a stripped birch log right there. And then around it, I put birch trapdoors. On top of that, I put some item frames. And then these are, of course, flower pots for the cups. You could try to use the sea pickles, but unfortunately, you can't place the sea pickles on top of a closed trapdoor. Too bad. In the middle, we have another one of those bowl things that I showed you earlier, except I put a leaf block in the middle of it instead. That's kind of like just the centerpiece. You could maybe think of this as like leaves around or something, and it's like some sort of like little centerpiecey thing. Not really sure. And then on the back, we've got some coral modern art. So I was kind of thinking of this as like a modern art type painting. Of course, I have some water source blocks on the back of that so that the coral doesn't die, but that's my little modern art. And then we have a couple more of these little things with the end rod and the flower pot on top. So I really love the fact that you can place item frames on the ground now. It makes so you can do some really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Okay, on to these fish tanks that I'm sure you're interested in. So this one here, what is going on here? Well, basically all it is I put a water source block there, and then it just is falling down, and then it's being held in place so it doesn't like flow all over the place by these trapdoors here, right? And then underneath that, like right here, that is a, so on the bottom underneath the seagrass here is a sea lantern, just to give it some light, and then we have the seagrass. And then you can actually place a fish in there, and the fish will stay, even though there's no glass around it. The trick is you can only put one fish in. If you try to put two fish in, one of the fish is going to come out because it's going to like hit and bump into this one, and this one's going to push it out, or that one, vice versa, right? So that's the thing with these fish tanks is if you don't put glass around them, it can only contain one fish. Otherwise, one of them will die, or maybe both of them will die. Depends. Okay, here's another fish tank design that I was playing around with. It's kind of a little derpy there. It looks like some of my my powdered concrete got wet. But anyways, so this is another one. So it's just the same idea. That I put blue ice behind it to give it a sea-like background. And then this is multiple fish, so then I put a bunch of glass around it to try to keep this one in. And then we've got the same sea lantern, seagrass kind of combination on the bottom there. And it makes a nice little fish tank that doesn't take up like your entire room in your house. But this one's a little bit bigger. All right, moving on. I have no idea what I was thinking on this one. It's kind of some weird modern fish tank that sort of starts at the top. So at the top here, I've got a half slab that's actually a quartz half slab, and that is waterlogged. And then it's going to flow all the way down, and then I put a hole in the floor here so that the water doesn't come out and get, flow all over the place. And then we've got seagrass with a lantern in it. And you can see it contains one fish again. So if I put a second fish in, I have the bumping problem. This right here is actually a zombie head facing backwards on top of what do you call this thing? You know what it is. So I was trying to make this so that it can be completely done in vanilla Minecraft without any extra resource packs or different heads. But you could, of course, mess with that and use different other kinds of player heads or mob heads or something as your sort of lamp tops or however you want to use it. That's not a new feature, I don't think, but I just kind of thought that looked cool. The new feature would be like this fish tank that is using a water source, waterlogged block right there, and is only one wide. Okay, here's another idea for a fish tank. So what's going on here, I can't even remember. Oh yeah, so basically what I did is I created here, let me just break all this. I'm sorry the fish is gonna die, but oh well. Let me break all this and show you how I did this. Okay, so what we have here is just a quartz little table thing. It doesn't matter what this is, I just kind of tried to make it into a table. Yeah, just ignore that because that's a problem. Hold on, let me fix this. Okay, I'm back. So basically what I did is I'm using glass right now because I want you to be able to see through it. But basically all I did was this right here. So I built that, and then I put a water source block in the middle like that, okay? And then what you do is you take and you find your seagrass. And you're going to take your seagrass and plant it in there. And then you're going to bone meal that seagrass so that it grows into a double tall seagrass. Yeah, I can't. I have to bone meal it. Okay. And there we go. Okay. You put some bone meal on it, and then now I have double tall seagrass or tall seagrass. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate this water source block at the top. And voila, look at that. It stays for some reason, and I have no idea why. Then you take your fish and you place it in that water, and you have a weirdo fish tank. I think this one's super cool and super fun. Yeah. Let's see if I can find a fish. Fish! Come here, fish, 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 fish. Tropical fish. Bucket of tropical fish. That's what we're looking for. All right. Place them in there. Okay, there we go. So that's that one. Of course, I've got the diorite carpet, and then you guys have seen this in my previous video. Just a bunch of dark oak trapdoors sort of in a checker pattern just to kind of check it out. Now, this fish tank is a little derpy, like the seagrass sticks out of the top, and the fish sometimes does too. But I like it. I think it's cool. It could be like a nice little decorative touch somewhere in your modern house or your not so modern house or outside or whatever you want to do. Cool stuff. This one here, arguably my favorite, as I learned to talk. This one here took a little finagling to do. Basically, it's the same idea as these other fish tanks here, where I have a water source in the top that is actually in a waterlogged stair that's backwards. So let me show you these stairs so you can see. So I've got stairs and they're backward, okay? And then that's going to flow down, and then I put at the bottom here trapdoors like this to contain the water so it doesn't spread out this way. And then what you do after that is you go ahead and you take and you put in your coral blocks. And then putting in these coral fans was a little tricky because it created some source blocks when I did it. So I think you have to put these in and then do the seagrass and then do the fish. I think that's the order. But you kind of have to play around with the order. You can get it to work. I can't even remember how I did it, but one time I put these in and it like created a source block and there was a water mess. But yeah, you've seen this before in my other video, but in case you haven't seen that, basically I made some shelves out of some dark oak or whatever trapdoors you want to use, and then I just put some items on top of these, like we've got our little totem of undying, we've got a little nautilus shell, and some other things just to kind of simulate, you know, like some little trinkets and statues or figurines or something on shelves. And then we've got our end rod and a little plant like that with a little flower in there. And so I think that this looks pretty cool. But the main thing here is the fish tank, which is really sweet. So you can make a really small fish tank, but again, it can only contain one fish. So second fish in here and fish start dying. Anyway, let's move on. This one's got quite a bit going on. These are actually mushroom blocks, like the stem blocks. That's kind of cool. I did the footboard of this out of some oak wood trapdoors. Then we've got pillows made out of iron blocks, and I think that's just white wool underneath there. And then we've got the book thing with the item frame again. And so it makes a nice little bed. So this kind of looks like a bed sheet, right? Like you could think of it as maybe like a camo colored like type of bed sheet, or like zebra striped or something. Or you could even think of the sort of you know, darker lines in here as sort of like it's kind of, you know, the bed sheet isn't pulled tight. Sorry about that. The bed sheet isn't pulled tight, and those are kind of like the wrinkles in the bed sheet or something. So I think that's cool. We've got a carpet here made out of some coral blocks. And of course, underneath that, there are water source blocks to keep them from dying, but that's that. Here's another fish tank. This fish tank was made in exactly the same way as this one, except I didn't put the coral behind it, and it's just smaller. So again, we have our stair like that. We have our single fish. We've got the trapdoors here, and we have a sea lantern in the bottom for light, some seagrass, and a single fish. So you can make an incredibly small, really cool fish tank. Of course, it can only contain one fish. I've said that enough times, I think. I think you got it. How many fish can it? No, I'm just kidding. There'll be a quiz at the end. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah, so I think that it, you know, my goal was to make a fish tank that was only one block, and this is pretty darn close. It's 3 blocks, but it's 1 block wide, sort of, if you don't count the trapdoors. So, yeah, very cool. All right, this last one, I built a couch out of some blue ice. Has like a nice texture to it, kind of looks like a couch. This thing here, I was thinking like if there was a TV, like where I'm standing here, that this could be the remote control. So if you kind of look at it from this direction, it looks like a remote control. You guys have seen this whole thing in my previous decoration video, but if you haven't seen that, it's just a couple of chests with some trapdoors around it. The reason I put chests in there is because then you could like store stuff in here, like your magazines or whatever you wanted to read. On the back here, I did a little modern art piece with, so we've got just some gray concrete powder in the back. We've got some item frames with different colored, you know, powdered concrete on it. And then I was trying to use these coral fans in an interesting way, these dead coral fans. So if you look at it like from here, it kind of looks cool, like a little modern art piece. Just a little wall decoration that's kind of interesting looking, a little bit different than maybe you could do in some of the other versions or maybe you've seen before. So that's pretty cool. And then you guys, just some decorative buttons. That's just kind of frames it out to make it look like a cool little thing. So anyways, those are my decorations that I've done for 1.13. Well guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's inspired you to try some different things in your own world and maybe use some of these in a house or something. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed it. Very cool. Again, remember to leave a like and subscribe. And if you really think that my channel is doing well and you want to support me, then go ahead and share it with somebody. But until then, I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And God bless.